Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to discuss a hot topic right now, and that's going to be on the latest WandaVision episode, which was actually the finale. That's right, it's all over, guys. So what do we think about it? Because I know we all have thoughts.
Yeah.
You want to start first, OC? You're the one who brought us together.
I mean, okay. So I was one who I was happy about this show at the beginning when everybody was like, what's with all this black and white stuff? And people were just clowning on it because, you know, there's nothing happening. And I was like, oh, I'm in it for the nostalgia. And then it just kept getting better and better for me, to be honest. Until this last episode. This is, for me, the definition of you just missed the landing. And it's for a lot of different reasons. I think I'll basically what it comes down to, as far as I'm concerned, is Marvel has just gone too far with the whole Easter eggs and clues and all of these sprinkling different things to keep people interested. They've gone too far as I'm concerned with WandaVision. And part of it is it's not necessarily entirely the show's fault, but a lot of the news around the show that I think Marvel kind of took advantage of and ran with and then fostered, but just didn't deliver on most of it, as far as I'm concerned.
What do you mean? Give us an example.
Okay, so why was Evan Peters here? Why was Evan Peters here? Okay, so honestly, the only reason that I can come up with is that Kevin Feige literally just wanted to mess with us. He just wanted to mess with us.
I think so.
That's it. And like, why? Why? That
was actually a big plot hole / plot convenience, because it's like, why wasn't he on the board of missing persons when they cataloged every single person in the town? Because he was obviously a citizen of, that area.
Right.
Wait,
so it's
I
like,
thought...
why was that part of the mystery? And then finally you go in his room, his headshot's sitting on the table. It's like, oh, you're Ralph Boner. Ha, Boner.
Oh, I thought Agatha brought him.
No, Agatha just made him have powers.
She made him be Quicksilver for
which is a whole other thing. Are they able to give people powers now? Because that's not really a thing. Like, you can't just be giving people powers. And I guess it was tied to the amulet, but also, how are you able to give him powers but not able to change his face to look like her brother?
Another plot convenience. Yeah. To mess with us.
So I mean,
see, OC, you're just taking this too seriously.
But that's what it seems like. It's like people are like, oh, if like you're missing the point of the show. Like, the point of the show was Wanda's grief and her trying to get over Vision, which I totally get. I would have enjoyed it so much more if that's all I was paying attention to. But Marvel told me to pay attention to all the other things too.
They told you. They called you and told you to pay attention.
They did. They took advantage of all the free promo that all of these like YouTube like deep dive videos were going into with all the theories. I agree. I think it was outside factors that contributed to the letdown that it was.
My friend, that's clickbait for you.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like that's people being overhyped and falling into the speculations.
So Ralph was one thing. And then number two, frickin' Paul Bettany.
It was a cameo.
Paul Bettany talking about how he was so excited to work with an actor that he has always wanted to work with. And then at the end of the day, it was just him.
It wasn't just him though too. Was it one of the showrunners or was it Elizabeth Olsen? Someone said it was akin to the Luke Skywalker cameo in Mandalorian, which was a lie.
That was another one. That's a complete
that they perpetuated outside of the story,
Yeah.
Then,
you sure he wasn't talking about what's it called?
I'm absolutely sure. There's no way on earth that having a fake Quicksilver it's akin to the Luke Skywalker and the Mandalorian.
Plus, Paul Bettany, he admitted that he was joking and the cameo was himself.
Right.
He confirmed it. He dug himself into that hole, and now he has to live with it. He has to live with that lie that got everyone so hyped up about things. And aside from that, I know, OC, you said that this was a story about her grief. It was, almost until the last, like, end credit scene, because it was a very good story about grief, and I think, like, Wanda learned a lot, but that was almost all thrown away with the second cutscene.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if we can go into it right now already, I mean...
Well, sure.
It was like the biggest Easter egg leading
Yeah.
up to, like, maybe where the story's gonna go into.
With multiverse.
But basically, she's reading from the book, right? That has
Right.
all, like, the darkest magic of all time in it. And then you hear her kids, like, calling her name. So it's implied, like, she's gonna bring those guys back, which is kind of...
Defeats the
purpose of this lesson in grief if she's gonna bring them back. Plus, we basically still have Vision, because White Vision admitted, like, I am Vision. Then he yeeted himself out of the hex and we never saw him again.
Wait,
So he's out there.
He's kind of Vision.
He said, I am Vision.
Okay.
He said it in his
Yeah.
I am Vision.
Because I thought White Vision went back to Wanda and pretended to be like the other Vision.
Nope.
No, they never
They-
explained what happened to White
Nope.
Vision.
They didn't
So-
make that clear.
Okay.
He literally
they didn't make that clear.
left.
I was like,
just
where the
left. He
freak
just
is
dipped.
Vision?
Yeah.
Okay.
He dipped.
So I'm basically, and I think that that's cool. It's kind of Vision. The whole thing with the White Vision, I'm okay with that. But Wanda, let's talk about Wanda. She's a bad guy. Like she's the villain. She's absolutely
Agreed.
The villain.
the villain. What were her consequences? Because
Yes! She just left!
that was my whole issue, and I mean there's still a chance that they redeem this and that she becomes like the titular villain. Like literally she needs to be like the Thanos for the next 3 or 4 Marvel movies, because that is the only way that this can make any kind of sense. Because I don't understand Monica and Darcy and the way that they kept just supporting Wanda through all of this.
Yeah.
And even at the very end, it didn't make any sense to me, because we see the kind of horror that she has imparted on these people. Let me ask you guys a question.
Ooh, man.
What is the difference between Wanda and Dr. Freeze from Batman?
Dr.
I'll
Freeze.
tell you. Dr. Freeze.
Okay, we can't even answer the question, guys.
You want me to answer?
Dr. Freeze didn't torture thousands of people indiscriminately to get back his loved one. Okay?
Yeah, that's inarguable. It was psychological torture. Like, everyone was getting really
Yeah.
messed up in the hex. They were desperate to see their loved ones, to live their lives.
Yeah.
And what did it all lead up to? The only consequence was, I think
gave
Wanda
her
walks down the
dirty looks.
street. Yeah, she walks down the street in shame for like 2 seconds, and then
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, well,
That's
one
it.
of the consequences is that she lost Vision. But to your point, OC, like, I don't understand either how Monica and Darcy supported her, even though they were under her spell in the beginning and had firsthand, like, experience on how it felt to be in that situation.
Right.
Well, one of them only was like,
It was a short while.
yeah, it was very
for
short.
Darcy.
So
The show explained it away with Monica saying, like, I would have done the same thing. I would have brought my mom back. It's
That's
like,
a
that's
bad
your,
thing.
that's, I know, like, that's
I know.
admitting that you would let tons of people go through psychological torture to bring a loved one back, which is
Yeah.
not a
But,
good
like,
thing. That's a bad
honestly,
thing.
here's the thing, though. She didn't have to do that. She could just create her own zone without any of the other people with
She
Vision.
could have. Yeah.
Like,
Well,
there's-
honestly,
But she also didn't know that she
Yeah,
was
that's what I was
creating
gonna ask.
it.
She didn't know until later.
But that's the thing. Hayward. Okay, so for me, Hayward is the hero of this show. Hayward is the hero of this show. He's the guy that was making sense. But no, she found out eventually. Like, we can say that in episode 1, she's confused. She doesn't really know what's going on. But we know at a certain point that she figures it out, and that she's beginning to understand that all of this is happening. She even says to Vision, as soon as I figured this out, I should have let you know everything that was going on. And so she had a chance to, like, for redemption, but she basically threw it away, and she seems to still be throwing it away even in the after credits scene. So
Wait, again, Hayward's the general, right? That general.
Yeah,
Right? Okay, so
the
that's
general.
another thing I didn't like, I will admit, with this the ending. They made him to like a one-dimensional villain where he was like, oh, if you work with me, you would share the power. And I was just like, earlier he was all like, this was wrong. Now he's like, I just want to get that power. I was just like, what
I know. That was, you could kind of root for him at the beginning when he was like, I'm just trying to protect everyone. That you can relate to. But at the end, he does kind of become,
they had to like turn him to like, make sure you know that this guy's the bad guy.
That's lazy. I mean, like we're saying, that's lazy writing. And even at the end, there could have been a redemption arc for Wanda. I mean, they didn't have to do that much. You know, she could have really helped those guys out that she like messed up in the head somehow, some way. But instead, she also yeeted out of there, and she's on her own, learning from the darkest magic book of all time.
Right.
I have to say, guys, I foreshadowed this in our last talk about WandaVision, and I was really scared that it was gonna come out like our last conversation with WandaVision. I was saying how I was terrified this was gonna turn into like the other Marvel series, kind of like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and whatnot, where it kind of falls off at the end and just kapoots itself to a shithole.
What if? Okay, I'm curiosity. What if the plan was just to make her, become a witch, in the lack of a better term?
That's what we were saying. I mean, OC, you brought up yourself, like she has to be Thanos level bad, and I think the only way to redeem this, and I'm hoping they do this, she becomes like the biggest bad in the next coming films. I think that's where this is going. If that's the case, like cool. But they didn't have to make us go through this roller coaster for her to throw away like all this great character development and all that.
And that's another thing. That's another thing I'm confused about, because the episode itself is called series finale. So I'm curious, like, and maybe they are, depending on the views, if they're going to continue making another season. But if this is the series finale, that's just literally, it is just like they build up something just to throw it away in the trash at the last second to be like, oh, okay, let's throw it away. Because that's kind of disappointing. Like, that's just, they basically didn't have any faith into it. That's just what it sounds like.
And I mean, like, I get the whole, like, the journey of Wanda, and we're going through her grief. But for me, it was really hard to empathize with her. And like the moments that she was sharing with Vision, and like those conversations had like great writing, like the lines going back and forth between her and Vision, especially in the end. There was like great writing, but it was hard for me to connect emotionally to what was going on when I'm like, she's evil, like she's literally like she only cares about what she wants right now. She only cares about getting back her own loved one, and she doesn't care who she hurts to get it. Like, she's a bad guy right now, and it's hard for me to throw all of that away when they're not addressing it. It's different if they're like, we want to show you a sympathetic villain, and we're going to go through the journey of showing you a villain who, even though they're sympathetic, what they're doing is bad. Like, it's different when you have that, because it's like, okay, you're at least acknowledging the bad that's going on, and I can now emotionally connect to what's going on with the character, himself or herself. But in this case, it was like they were just ignoring it. They were just ignoring the bad.
If you're gonna make her a Daenerys Targaryen, make her a Daenerys Targaryen.
Exactly.
Like, lean into it a bit. And I feel like you hit the nail on the head. They didn't do that. They still want to make Wanda and everyone like her, when I mean, if this were to really happen, there would be real consequences for it, and there wasn't.
But hey guys, it is called WandaVision, so we're just seeing it from her vision. So
from her perspective, I mean,
I love that.
But I get it. I wish again, it's a downfall that they built this character in such a way, make us question her morality, and now it's just like, oh, forget about it. So it is a disappointment. And
and then earlier, I know a couple videos back, we said, oh, WandaVision looks like it's becoming required watching, and after seeing the whole thing, we can confirm it's not. It's not required watching. And you know what, maybe, I don't know what the decisions were behind that. Maybe they had to do that because, I mean, I would support this. I would say, like, yeah, you can't make it required watching because it's a show, and like the MCU is the MCU. And so if that was something that they decided from the beginning, then I feel like they led us astray because there was so many Easter eggs and so much talk about stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, even was it like one of the writers was saying like, he literally said like, everyone's going to be disappointed because of all the fan theories. Like he said that, and I was like, yeah, like if this is akin to, I don't know if you guys are music fans, but a while ago there was like these headlines about that Flogna Music Festival where everyone thought it was going to be Frank Ocean coming out. No one denied it. I was there too. No one denied it. And when like they brought out Drake instead, it was a big deal. And that's because everyone came up with this false narrative in their head that, you know, freaking Frank Ocean was going to be there, and it didn't matter who you brought out at that point. It's like everyone was expecting something and it didn't happen, and people are going to be mad either way, even though you never confirmed or denied.
But it would have been like if Drake came out in a Frank Ocean mask and then pulled the mask off. It was like, no, you suck.
This is basically what happened
don't shit
with
on
WandaVision.
Drake.
Okay.
I'm
Sorry.
But people did shit on Drake because they had these expectations, and that's what happens when you have expectations.
Exactly.
It's like people revere Marvel properties.
Yeah.
At this point, Marvel is leaning into all these fan theories because it's worked for them before. But if you're gonna do that, you need to deliver something, anything. And in this, you know, they didn't even send Drake out. It was a nobody in a.
Right.
It was like nobody with a Frank Ocean
has a
mask
point,
on.
guys.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, y'all came in with expectations. I didn't. and that's why I personally don't mind how it ended. I thought it was whatever's. I thought like it was entertaining, and I liked seeing Agatha. I thought that was cool, like her powers and whatnot.
Khan's great.
Expectations.
That last battle could have been a lot better.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, expectations aside, we can't ignore the fact that they down the character, and they kind of like this ending basically kind of ruined her character.
Yeah, I mean, I agree
that's
with
true.
everything that you guys have said. It's just I don't really care that much because the show itself started off as kind of like, okay, whatever to me, and it got a little bit better, but like barely even good at all. Like not even good in my opinion, just okay, and it stayed that level throughout for me.
Yeah, the show alone is mediocre, but outside of this, you can't deny that it's turning into a cultural moment, which is what all the Marvel properties are like. Yeah, cultural moments.
People are loving it, which I'm low-key surprised about.
Wait, they love the ending? You looked at
even the ending. Like some people are loving the finale. They're like they really enjoyed it. I'm just like, oh man.
I enjoyed other elements of it, but I didn't enjoy the ending.
I like the credit scene. Like I like the second credit. I kind of liked it. Like it was cool to me. The ending overall for WandaVision, not so much. Like it was alright.
I love how no one's mentioning the mid-credit scene because it feels like no one cares about Skrulls, right?
Nobody cares about Skrulls.
Well,
right?
I thought, see, this is the thing about the Skrull thing. I thought that's going to be played in the Spider-Man movie because that would just be an easy way to be like, oh, this is Peter Parker, and you see the Skrull return into Spider-Man. But
it might play into the Spider-Man
we'll see.
movie.
But that's the only reason why I care about it. Other than that, I don't really care about it.
Is that the payoff? Like, you know, a whole, you know, season of whatever television and then 2 after credits that may or may not lead to something else. I mean, they most likely will, but that's all we got.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been they basically built this whole thing up, and a big thing that I think that they missed this opportunity. If they actually had a cameo that was worth it, it might have solved a lot of our problems, especially around Wanda and her character.
Hawkeye.
Maybe not Hawkeye.
I wanted to see Hawkeye.
Hawkeye?
Yeah, they had a thing in Avengers 2 and like also Civil War.
That's true. Or even if it was like they were like, oh, maybe it's Ultron. Maybe White Vision's gonna turn into like a better version of Ultron or something.
That would have been cool.
But that's just a fan theory. That was just. I mean, if you look on the comments of some of these people like talking about. Like, oh, what are you expecting? I went back, I looked at posts that were posted like hours before the finale, and people were like, Mephisto. They were like, Doctor Strange. They were saying it's Ultron.
But, okay, that's the thing.
It's the Sentinels. It's X-Men. And everyone was going all over the place with crazy stuff. And I was like,
it's their fault. Not the fans'
even
fault.
Possible?
Why would they bring in Evan Peters? Of course, we're gonna make an X-Men related theory.
And then you have the 2 kids there, and it's like, oh, that's like more X-Men like reference and stuff, like your kids and all that. Like maybe she's gonna create the X-Men. It's like they had all these bits and pieces of things that could have turned into something else, and they could have gone with any avenue, and it would have been like a good payoff, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
My bad. So yeah, there was the technical thing, but it's good. So basically, what I was gonna say is, I think that one of the issues with Wanda's character in this ending could have been easily resolved if they just fed into like one of those things. So if they brought Doctor Strange in, or somebody like who has either magic abilities or mental abilities that could have helped Wanda and like basically taken her out of her mental break, then that would have helped with her redemption, like primarily, because she's not all in her right mind. But basically we see that, oh, she is in her right mind because she has full control over whether or not she can close the hex or open the hex, expand it or contract it, and she basically did everything herself in the end. So she could have done it at any other point during the show, supposedly. So that kind of takes away that redemptive aspect of Wanda's character. It's a big disappointment. I think that if they had done any of those things, it would have been better.
That's the thing, is like it's very open-ended. Like we don't know. There wasn't really a redemption arc that was satisfying, and also we're still like, oh, like is she on the way to becoming like really evil? Like they should have really leaned into it if that's what they're like trying to show us. But it's more like everything is like implied.
You don't know what you've done.
It's not really like
like what did she do? Tell us, please.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
not really
What did she
solidly
do?
out there.
I think they don't know how to like.
They don't know what she's done.
This. Yeah, I think
even the
maybe,
writers
like,
don't know.
And also, that could have just been budgetary reasons. Benedict Cumberbatch might have been just too expensive.
It feels like a big filler episode of something before the Doctor Strange movie or something.
Yep.
Right. They might have said something, like this is going to be an even bigger bad than Wanda, so we're going to take the focus off of Wanda, and it's going to be this thing that she accidentally released that's going to be a worse threat, and Wanda's going to help solve it, and then that's going to be her redemption, which is not great. But like all the other things, I'm frustrated about the aerospace engineer that they teased us with.
Everyone was thinking that was going to be an intro to Fantastic Four. Reed
It could have been an intro to anybody. Like that's just an option, but they didn't even show who it was. It's like,
she said like,
come
oh,
on,
I know a good aerospace engineer. Back to this stuff. Like
right. They're like, oh, and then like zoom in on the phone as I'm texting my good aerospace engineer friend, and they just didn't do anything with that. And then also they need to answer to Monica's abilities. Yep. I get that her character has abilities. This didn't make sense to me. The way that she got her abilities had made absolutely no sense to me. Because unless everybody in that hex is going to be getting abilities, they need to explain, probably in whatever Captain Marvel 2 or whatever other thing that Monica is going to show up in, they need to explain how she has abilities.
Well, she was the only one that really went in, like passed through the hex and then passed out and then like came back in and out,
But I mean, ideally, they all went in and out
once,
like once
or twice,
right? Like, yeah, when it expanded and then when it contracted. At the end.
True.
So.
Well, it didn't contract at the end. They sort of just fell apart at the end.
Oh yeah, she opened a hole.
It contracted.
Oh, it did.
It was like shrinking in.
Yeah.
It was like shrinking in on them.
Yeah, but by that time,
while they were having their last.
But wasn't everyone?
I don't think everyone escaped. That would be kind of far fetched.
Well, see, now we're just having to assume
speculate,
everything.
Yeah, a lot of theories.
Maybe all of those guys turned into X-Men, OC, and then this was all, and it was all for naught. Yeah.
You're right.
Honestly, I don't know if they're.
That's a good theory.
I hope.
I like that.
Another fan theory.
I hope when Doctor Strange comes out, like I'm really curious on like what the narrative is, with Wanda. Like what is really gonna happen.
Yeah, we shouldn't be curious. Like, they should have went with a definitive direction and gone with it, because now it just seems like she's very like in the middle, right? She maybe redeemed herself in some people's eyes, and like, but also other people are saying like, oh, she's gonna turn really evil, and it's like, we don't know at all.
Oh, see, I'm out of curiosity, what did the people who love like the ending say? Do you know? Or
they were focusing more on like, this was a great emotional ending between Wanda and Vision, and like the moment that they shared right before they disappeared, and like her putting her kids away and all of that
Those
stuff.
are
Wait,
good
is these are these like actual like YouTube people commenting? I mean, like video, like people acting, or is just comments you just saw on like, you know?
So part of it, most of it was like YouTube people, and then also TikTok.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like one of those like what's it called? Rotten Tomato comments where it's like, this ending's amazing because all this other thing. It's just like,
No,
you know.
it wasn't really the comments so much.
Okay, that's okay.
But yeah, a lot of them were like, oh, if you got caught up in the if you got caught up in all the fan theories, you kind of played yourself. I'm like, no, like, you told us, like, we're completely fine with having a self-contained story. Like, I love that. I love self-contained stories, but you can't be like, oh, watch out for every little thing, and then get mad when like you don't give me anything.
Yeah.
It's like, but you told me to watch out. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. As a standalone story, there were elements that were really good that we can celebrate. But I think overall, like I said, there was no definitive direction that they went with her character.
Yeah, exactly. That ruins the standalone story, because it's like, you can build all this amazing stuff, but if it ends in a way where it's just like no direction, no proper redemption arc, or these, like, again, these problems, it's like, how are we supposed to be like, oh, this is a good standalone? If anything, it made us want more stuff so we could forget about it.
Exactly.
We're supposed to establish like where she stands now, and we don't know. We just don't know.
This is the basis we have for the rest of the Marvel series that Disney is going to release. So keep your expectations low, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still excited for this Loki one.
I'm excited too, but you know, I feel like every Marvel series, they kind of tend to F it up
Well, we'll see
in
about
some way.
Was it Falco and Hawk? I don't know why I'm saying Falco.
Falco.
Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Falcon,
Yeah.
Winter Soldier.
So
Captain Falco.
We'll see.
see.
I mean, I'm not gonna castigate the rest of them. I'm hoping that they do better.
Agreed.
You know, we still got like the first 2 seasons of Daredevil. Which were
Yeah, I was
great.
gonna say
You
the
mean-
Netflix. The first
well-
couple of seasons of all the Netflix ones were pretty good.
Wait,
Yeah.
they only
True.
they only have the first. Isn't Daredevil 3 seasons? So they only have 2 seasons with it.
Yeah, but he said the
3
first
seasons.
2 were good.
No, I mean, I don't remember the 3rd season, so I'm saying that the first 2 seasons of Daredevil
I'd say the
were
third
great.
season was good still.
I thought the 3rd season was
I mean,
better
I'll
than the
take your
2nd
word.
season. I'll be honest with you.
I'll take your word for
So,
it. I just can't
what'd you do,
remember
what?
it.
The 3rd
I'll take your
season
word for it.
was
I just
better than
can't-
2nd season.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, they were all pretty darn good to me.
Yeah, they're all good.
The
but-
Daredevil
I'm not gonna-
series is probably the best TV Marvel
Yes.
series in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like Jessica
I'll
Jones
agree
as
with
well.
that.
Yeah,
Maybe season 1, you know.
I have.
Season 1, I'll give
I like season 1.
1.
I didn't like the
Yeah, I'll give
the other
season 1.
ones.
They're gonna bring all those guys back from all those series, but they're gonna be like Ralph Boner's family. They're gonna be Ralph Boner's
I mean,
brothers and sisters.
honestly, like, I don't know who I don't know who, like, in the writers' room, they were like, yo guys, what if we get Evan Peters to just mess with everybody?
Everyone
He
just
has
dies.
nothing to do.
OC's really hurt about this.
Everyone in the writers' room just dies of laughter, and they're like, "Give this man a raise."
Yeah, everyone was like, what if we just
Seriously.
pissed off this man named OC and just toy with him with this Evan Peters guy? We'll see what
Like,
happens.
I mean, and it didn't need to happen is the thing. Like, they could have explained it in a couple of other ways. It didn't need to actually be him, but the fact that it was just a regular guy, it's like it just like spits. It's like a slap in the face even more.
Yeah.
It's like
I love
it's
yeah.
Yeah.
There was like a really funny like headline I read on like a story about Evan Peters, and it was just like, Evan Peters just happy to be a part of things, and I was like, that's so sad. That's such a sad headline.
All right, man. You got it out, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Anybody else? I think the mailman was still a thing. I don't know. I felt like they were emphasizing different parts of the show, and I think a mailman is an example of that, where, you know, different characters would be in the background, and if you were paying attention, you found them, but then if you're paying attention, you also played yourself. It's like, don't pay attention, basically, is what they're trying to teach us.
Yeah, I didn't really pay that much attention.
Are you satisfied, Scott, as someone who, first of all, didn't really care?
About WandaVision?
Second of all, didn't pay attention? Yeah,
First of all, would
you
enjoy
recommend
MCU
this show?
movies.
Okay.
I enjoy
I know,
MCU
yeah,
movies.
I know you do.
Yeah, and this didn't feel like an MCU movie. It felt like something completely different, which is fine, you know, but it didn't feel like it was for me. So I cannot, in good faith, recommend this show to anyone.
Okay.
I say skip
I'm
it.
pretty neutral. I'm whatever about it.
I mean, diehard Marvel fans are gonna enjoy it either way. So
Exactly.
It's not for everyone, like
Yeah.
Scott said, but there are gonna be people that will really appreciate some things about it, and I appreciated some things about it. I just really don't appreciate other things about it.
Yeah, conceptually it was very interesting, and I love the whole meta TV show references. Again, they just blow it out with the direction. You know,
Yeah.
I've definitely seen shows that have done it better, aka Community. But other than that, I mean, if you want to watch again, for conceptual reasons, it's something to enjoy conceptually. But other than that, there's not really any reason to watch it.
Also, if you want to have like an understanding, it's good for like backstory in the MCU if you want to just do your extra homework. But that's what I consider this. I consider it to just be extra
Also, I
homework
gotta
for
say,
MCU.
I don't like her English accent, like her regular accent.
Her Russian accent,
No.
her regular accent.
I like her Wanda accent, like her character accent, when she's not in character, but like when she's pretending to be in the family, and you know it's an American accent, it just seems wrong to me. I don't know why, but that's just
Yeah,
me.
they made a joke about that too, because
Exactly.
Agatha was like, you know, that accent's kind of
I was
funny
like,
and all that, breaking the third wall. It's probably not easy
Also-
for anyone to just be in that
Fourth wall.
accent all the time. I feel like they did that to help
sure.
Elizabeth Olsen out.
Also, where is Agatha? Because my thought was like she was gonna be in the Hex, but then the Hex is gone now. So I'm assuming
where
that
does she
she's
live?
still under
Pocket
Wanda's
dimension.
control.
Yeah, no, she's forever gonna be under Wanda's control. She also has no powers to try to get out of that mental manipulation. But I know what you're saying. Like, now that everyone's out of the mental manipulation, where is she gonna live?
Yeah.
Like, because everybody has their own like place. Like, they're gonna be like, who the hell are
Yeah,
you?
Agatha's gonna come back. That's what I'm getting at right now.
Yeah, I
She'll be
trust.
back.
Sure.
I mean, I'm hoping that Marvel will like look into the feedback, and I do trust Marvel to like make good movies. So, you know, maybe this will all just be kind of like a footnote in things, and Doctor Strange will be really great. But yeah, I mean, we're all gonna think the things that we're gonna think about it.
Yeah, but let us know what you guys think, because you know, it seems our opinion here, we're at a consensus, but maybe you loved it. Let us know why. Maybe you hated it.
Yeah.
Let us know why too.
Yeah. There's no way.
Or you're neutral. Let us know that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
All right then.